spent a couple of hours looking for YouTube music that featured women. And I found a lot of videos that feature women, but nothing musical that would really resonate with me. And so I just leave it up to Spirit and know that it works out. And what a divine piece of music this morning that we were presented with. So we say good morning and welcome to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living, especially to those of us who are here in the center this morning, those who are joining us as part of our Zoom family, and those who are watching us on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel. We are a New Thought metaphysical philosophy. We are a faith, we are a way of life, and we practice the principles and the teachings of science of mind. Our annual Centers for Spiritual Living theme this year is open at the top. This is one of the famous quotes by Ernest Holmes. And then our own center, Monterey Center for Spiritual Living theme is expect the best. And doesn't that really tie in with imagination, which is our theme for the month of March? What if? What if? What if it always turned out to work in our favor? What if we were to let go of those things that bring up fear and focus our attention and our imagination on what brings us joy and love? This is what we're going to be sharing during the month of March. And so we begin with our topic for today, a world of pure imagination. Imagine a world where all of our needs are met before we even become aware of them. Even as we speak, so the expression goes, the response and the demonstration is already being made manifest in our lives. And so this gives us the hope and the awareness that we live in a world where life is met with grace and ease, and that we're in a world where everyone is seen and valued as a perfect expression of the divine, worthy of love, success, and joy. This is the world we dream. This is the world that we know exists. And I start with this quote from Ernest Holmes from the Science of Mind textbook on page 157. And he wrote, "When we use our creative imagination with strong faith," notice that there's a requirement here, that we use it with strong faith, "it will create for us out of the one substance whatever we have formed in thought. In this way, we become a co-creator with God." So we create using our imagination with strong faith. We create out of the one substance, which is the source of all that there is. And this way, we become a co-creator with God. Holmes' words remind us that the inner guidance we receive from Spirit within is that still small voice in the wilderness of our own heart that is telling us the truth by saying, "I am the beloved. I am the one you have been searching for. I am God dwelling in your heart." So there is no distinction between where God begins and we end, or God ends and we begin. We're all part of this one substance. So we're all dwelling in the heart of God, the heart of this infinite source. And I want to share something that I read recently by meditation guide that I follow occasionally by the name of Light Watkins. And this is called A Mini Reminder for Pure Imagination. Going to your workout is difficult. Having the long overdue conversation is difficult. Why? Because both take us out of our comfort zone. The big illusion is that we are safer in our comfort zone. However, from a spiritual perspective, our comfort zone is the riskiest place to be because there's very little growth here, and ironically, the safest place to be is in your workout. It's it's also the other side of that long overdue conversation. Why? Because that's where we find our growth that keeps us strong, capable, and resilient, the other side of our comfort zone. And so as we look to imagination for that place of growth that keeps us strong and capable of resilient, I also bring to mind one of the core values of our Centers for Spiritual Living global vision. Our global vision is that we envision a world where we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where there is kinship with all life, thrives and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and spiritual wisdom. Locally and globally, we come together in spiritual communities to find unity, to find peace, to find upliftment, to pray together, to create those brave spaces where we can be authentic without judgment, connect with friends, to meet new friends, and a host of other reasons. And as I was writing this little joy bubble, if you will, a joy drop, kept coming to me, a host of other reasons, and that is the snacks after service. And I'm reminded of one of our colleagues would always say, where two or more are gathered, we eat. And so part of our coming together in community is to celebrate the fullness and the joy of life. However, once again, there's an elephant in the room that is calling us to move beyond our comfort zone, and that is the Iran war. I will not speculate about what led to the decision to start yet another war involving the United States, because I haven't done my research. I don't know the background. I don't know all of the details. And there's an aspect of me that says, that's not a need to know. What I offer to you this morning is that you do your own personal research and include authentic, unbiased sources to help you make informed decisions about our current situation. And the question that I ask of myself, is a world of war what we dream of and want to build? And for me, the answer is a responding and a resounding no. This is not the world that I want to see. And there's an aspect of this occurrence that is really hitting home for me like it hasn't hit home before. And that is, I have a great-grandson who is draft age. And I don't want to see that young man go into anybody's war. And there's an aspect of me, there's an element of me that feels powerless to prevent him from doing that. And yet, what I do know, what I am called to do, is to see beyond this chapter in our national history. And to learn that the story that is being presented is more than what meets the eye, if you will. And so for me, it's an invitation, and I invite you to come along with me, to see beyond this experience, and to lean into our spiritual practices, not as a way to fix the issue, but as a way to support each other. And I was just asking Spirit this morning when I was here preparing for Sunday, to lead me to a book. And there's a book that I'm going to quote from later on that I thought I had in my collection. And somewhere along the line, I released it. But I found this. This book is by Ernest Holmes, and it's called The Art of Life. And I happen to have a bookmark at this particular point that I opened to. And it says, someday, when you're confused, try this simple experiment. Sit down quietly and say, the peace of God is at the center of my being. I am conscious of this peace. I enter into this peace. I am surrounded by this peace. This peace moves out from me in all directions. It calms the troubled waters of my experience. It heals everything it contacts. There is nothing but peace. I rejoice in this peace. I permit this peace to enter my soul, to fill me with calm, to inspire me with confidence. I know that this peace goes before me and makes perfect, plain, and straight my way. And so as we contemplate this idea of peace, this peace that goes before me, that guides my way, that makes it plain, I come back to a science of mind perspective. What if, as Ernest Holmes wrote, we use our creative imagination and strong faith to become co-creators with God? And through that faith and creation, we make space for everyone to be seen, to be heard, and to feel like they belong. And I believe this is where we are at this point in our life experience on this journey. We're at a point where there's a cry to be seen, not to be seen from an ego perspective, but to be seen authentically as an expression of the divine. To see me, to hear me, to know the makeup of my being, to have that exchange, to have those brave conversations where we dare to be authentic and to stand in the place of not being judged, to be heard, and to feel that we belong. We belong to something that is greater than this present moment right here and right now. And the belonging is a unity of belonging. It is that place where, as a global family, we honor the interconnectedness of all life. The reading that I offer this morning is from 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom. And this particular reading is from November 28th, and it's on page 360. And it says, today I seek my union with life. Today, my imagination reaches back through all differences and universal sameness. Today, I know that I am in God. God is in me. We are one. Today, as ever before, I shall seek to sense this divine union of the soul with its source and with all the people and with all the infinite. So what this reading is saying is that today, right here, right now, I am staking a claim in my divine inheritance. I am recognizing my divine inheritance. And my imagination reaches back through all differences into the universal sameness. And that's not saying that sameness means alike, because it is in our differences, it is in our diversity that we discover our uniqueness as individualized expressions of God. And in times like this, we often return to maybe a deeper connection with our meditation, with our prayer, and with our affirmations. But let us remember, these are not escapes. They're blueprints for our spiritual engineering. Are our practices pertaining to reimagining justice? Are our spiritual altars blueprints for equality, love, and belonging? If our sacred yes to these questions encourages us to revisit the idea that imagining a better world is not just activism or mysticism, it is actually both. As the old teachers in Science of Mind used to tell us, it's a time to treat and move our feet. It's a time to put some action behind the prayer. A better world begins within each of us every day. And when I say treat and move your feet and put some action behind your prayer, that does not mean that all of us are going to go out and march and protest and carry banners and signs. Sometimes, spending that moment in silence, or maybe doing our own mirror work, just looking in the mirror and looking at and observing the reflection that is coming back to us. Quite often, that is a moment of movement. It is a moment of beginning to recognize that peace begins within me. And I believe it was Gandhi that said, be the peace that you wish to see in the world. And so it begins within. It all begins within our own essence, within our own being. We can use our imagination for liberation. We are witnessing right now global unrest fueled by inequality, climate anxiety, and political extremism. Yet, amid the discord, grassroots movements remind us that the future is always being written. And I'm reminded of that statement that Ernest Holmes has in our Declaration of Principles, or what we believe, and that is, we believe in the complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the complete emancipation. It was initially written as emancipation, and it has been rewritten to, let me find it real quick. I knew I brought the magazine up here for a reason. Yeah. What we believe, it's in our Science of Mind magazine. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So this is one of the tenets of our belief, of our faith practices, that this discord will be eliminated. And so we can use our imagination not just as an escape, but to liberate. And so the question then becomes, what are we creating? What do we want to see? And this is very similar to the experience that we're going through within our own community, as we are reimagining what our physical configuration will look like once we release this building. And that's been the invitation to imagine, what is it that we want to see in our new space? What is the energy that we have created here that we're taking with us into yet a new environment? So we're always in the process of creating. So the world we envision shapes the world that we build. In a time defined by conflict, disconnection, and rapid technological changes, we're reminded that imagination is not just fantasy, it is spiritual power. It's the power that we create within us. The teachings of Science of Mind present a sacred call to become aware co-creators using our spiritual imagination to initiate the change toward a world that benefits everyone. Let us cease using imagination to feed fear and instead channel it to create liberation, healing, and holy possibilities. So we're moving from fear, and we're moving into creating liberation, healing, and holy possibilities. And again, it all begins within. And so our challenge for the week, if you choose to accept it, is to give your imagination a sacred assignment. Choose one area of the world that feels heavy, broken, or stuck. Whether it's a global issue, a community concern, or a personal challenge. And ask yourself, what if healing here were possible? What would it look like? And then take one small action rooted in that vision. Maybe you write a letter, initiate a conversation, support a local organization, or practice seeing the divine in someone that you've judged. And seeing the divine in someone that you have judged invites us back to the mirror. In what areas have I judged my own self? What areas of my life have I criticized myself for not being good enough, short enough, tall enough, too fat, too thin? Whatever the judgment is that we embraced from the outer and internalized it. This is our opportunity to let that go. As I close with this quote from Emma Curtis Hopkins from her book, High Mysticism. Imagination is the faculty by which we picture the good we desire. Imagination is the faculty by which we picture the good that we desire. And so as we turn within to our moment of spiritual mind treatment, we invite our imagination to bring us together in the one mind, God's mind, and speak these words for the perfect new home for the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. We know it is already waiting for us. It meets our needs and desires and more. It is a perfect location for our loving spiritual community to expand and grow. And as we release these words into the Spirit, we know that it is done. But we know that it is done because there is one life, one power for good in the universe, and we use it. We use it to remember, and to remember and to remember that we are the essence of the divine. We are here to co-create with Spirit, to design a life that works for everyone, beginning with ourselves. We embrace those places of silence, that places of peace where we listen to that inner voice that is always saying to us, "You are my beloved, and I am well pleased." And so it is from this place of knowing that I am one with the divine that I give thanks. I give great thanks this morning for life and for all that it offers. And as I navigate the ebb and flow, the tide going out and the tide coming in of life experiences, I know that everything is working in divine, right, and perfect order. And when I say divine, right, and perfect order, I am imagining and stepping into the truth that the expression of the infinite, the expression of God, is working in right and perfect order for everyone and every experience. And so I'm knowing out of this, there is peace within my soul. There is peace within the essence of my being. And as I affirm this for myself, I affirm it for all people in all places everywhere, knowing that whenever we gather in the name and nature of the one love, the presence of Spirit is known there. That energy that connects that energy that reinforces love, that energy that reinforces places where authenticity is welcomed, those places where we are one in unity with one another, that place in the heart, because it all comes back to that place of love within the heart. And so I'm blessing families and individuals that are experiencing transitions in their lives, however those transitions show up, knowing that some transitions reflect pain, some reflect joy. And on the other side of whatever the experience is, there is a knowing and an inner peace that says, all is well. I made it through this. And if I made it through this, then I can make it through the next thing, and I can make it through the next thing, and I can make it through the next thing. Because it all fades into God. And so in gratitude for knowing that it all fades into God, the one source of all that there is, I release this word into that law, which already says yes, knowing that the demonstration is revealing itself here and now. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, please affirm it with me as we say together, and so it is, and so it is. And just as a reminder, we have treatment requests on our prayer table. You may fill out a confidential treatment request and leave it in the prayer box. And the prayer team, the practitioners and the ministers of this center will be in prayer with you and for you for whatever that request is. I know I talk about it a lot and the prayer box doesn't get used, so at least I'm asking one person, just one person, to put a treatment request in there this morning. Humor your minister, put a treatment request in the prayer box. And so it is now time for us to, let's say our affirmation together. Our affirmation for today, for this week is, I embrace the edge of possibility where dreams begin and I co-create new worlds. Let's say that again. I embrace the edge of possibility where dreams begin and I co-create new worlds. Thank you, Irene, for tweaking that. It takes a village. It takes a village, and I welcome those tips and those suggestions and those ideas to expand our awareness, to expand on what we're doing here as a community. And now is the opportunity to share our abundance, to share through our tithes and through our offerings. And we have an affirmation of abundance that I invite us to say together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so the ways to donate are available on our screen, and we invite you to take advantage of those. And I truly am grateful for the donations that and the ways that you continue to support our spiritual community. To our viewing audience via Facebook and YouTube, we invite you to join us next week as we continue our March series, What If? And our speaker for the day is our own practitioner Denise Kaku. And the topic is Traveling in the World of My Creation, remembering who we are, spiritual beings belonging to a vast, intelligent love, and we let the truth author our own inner world. So please join us either here in person at the center via Zoom or via our Facebook and our YouTube channels. So we say thank you, we love you, God bless you.